beginning, the child is unaware that it is a foot and would rather be a butterfly or an apple. As the foot is enclosed in the darkness of the shoe, it can only feel out like a blind man. So the words stones and bits of glasses, streets, ladders and paths in the rough surface convey the real experience of the foot. Hello everyone, I am Babita Tamaya, lecturer, Department of English, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. In my previous revision class, I had revised the chapter The Gardener. In my today's revision class, I'll be revising the poem To the Foot from its Child. So let's see the agenda for the day. I'll be discussing the synopsis, the weightage of the poem, question and answers. In the beginning, the child is unaware that it is a foot and would rather be a butterfly or an apple. So when the child is born, the child never knows how the reality, how the world it is. So when the child is born, the child feels that or thinks that it can be a butterfly or an apple. But as the child grows up and faces the hardship of life, like walking on stones and bits of glasses, the ladders of the path in the rough earth, the foot realizes that it is merely a foot and it cannot fly like a butterfly, nor it cannot bulge a fruit or a branch. So here, when the child is born, it thinks that it can be a butterfly or an apple, but the child realizes the hardship of the life when it starts to face. The child gets to know the reality of the world. At last it realizes, saying that I cannot be a butterfly or an apple in any of the branch. The child, when it walks on the rough path, wears shoes to protect the foot, but the foot feels defeated and tired and hates to be inside the shoes. So when you start walking, what we'll do? We'll wear a shoes. So again, your foot is inside the darkness. So the child hates to be inside the shoes. It doesn't want to be in the darkness. As the foot is enclosed in the darkness of the shoe, it can only feel out like a blind man. It can only feel the hardship of a man has to face to survive in this harsh world. So when it gets to know the reality that it is not so very easy to achieve anything in the life, you have to climb each and every ladder. So there are failures also. You have to cross all those failure things and you have to cross all those hardship and you have to achieve your goal. That is what the child says here. It is not so very easy to survive in this harsh world. The soft nails of the body foot grow harder and change themselves into opaque substance. Hard as a horn, the tiny toes grow bunched out of trim. They begin to look like eyeless reptiles. So when the baby is born, you can see the nails. The nails are too very soft. They are so very soft and pinkish in color. So will it be the same when they grows? No, it keeps changes. So here they begin to look like eyeless reptiles, that when they are born, they look like that. But once they start growing, once they start facing all kind of difficulties in their life, they'll get to know how harsh the world is. Whatever the child has thought when he was born, it is totally different from what the child is seeing right now. Even though it is old now, the foot blindly and without rest and sleep continues to walk. It continues to walk up and down through fields, mines, markets and ministers. Whether it is a man's foot or a woman's foot, the foot invariably no time to stop or to take off the shoes. So once you start walking, so you might walk to the fields, mines, markets, ministers, up, down. It might be a man or a woman, whoever it is, until when they will walk, until you take your last breath, you keep walking. Once you start walking, till when you will walk? Until your last breath, you will be continuing with walking. You might cross any of these things, but you'll keep walking. So the foot invariably has no time to stop or take off the shoes. So you cannot come out of the darkness. It is inside the darkness. Once your foot is inside the shoes, once you start walking until your last breath, you will never remove it. It'll just be walking like that. Then the foot is buried underground, unaware because of darkness inside. Even though it is buried, the foot is unaware that it has ceases to be a foot, or if they were burying it, so that it could fly like a butterfly or could become an apple. So when you're alive, your foot is inside the darkness. So once you're dead, again you're going to underground, you're buried. So when you're buried, again you're going inside the darkness. It is like completely dark. There is no changes in that. So the child says that, yes, I cannot be a butterfly nor an apple. It's not so easy. After a man dies, his soul is free, but during his lifetime can never choose to follow his dreams or aspirations, because to survive he has to work hard and the trials and tribulations of his life. The whole lifespan it has to work and walk and lead its life facing challenges, not realizing its dream and unaware of the bitter truth of life. So here the poet says that once the child is born, it is not very easy to fulfill his dreams and aspiration. They have to walk, they have to face the difficulties, they have to face the challenges. After facing all those things, only then you can be a successful person or achieve something in your life. That is what he says. The lifespan, whatever you have to work hard. The trials and tribulations of your life. Want to achieve something, you have to cross all these hurdles. Only then you can do something in your life. At last, facing the challenges, not realizing its dreams and unaware of the bitter truth of life. So when the child was born, it never knew that there is a bitter life also. There is such a harsh people in the world. The child never knew it. The only thing the child thought, it can be a butterfly or an apple. But when it gets to know the harsh realities, the challenges, the tribulations, everything, the child at last says that I cannot be a butterfly or an apple. Now let's see the weightage of this poem. You have 1 mark and 4 mark questions. So put together, the weightage of this poem is for 5 marks. Moving on to the 1 mark question answers. What would the foot like to be? The foot like to be a butterfly or an apple? Line I of the poem convey the immense possibilities of life, the unrestricted nature of child's imagination, the child's ignorance of harsh realities. So the answer is the child's ignorance of harsh realities. What does time teach the child? The time teaches the child that it cannot be a butterfly or an apple, nor it could fly. The line, stones and bits of glasses, streets, ladders, and the paths in the rough earth refers to, indicates hardships of one has to face in life, provides a mere description of a road, suggests the good and bad experience of growing up. So here it indicates hardship one has to face in life. Which words convey the real experience of the foot? So the words stones and bits of glasses, streets, ladders, and paths in the rough surface convey the real experience of the foot. Condemned to live in a shoe suggests that the foot is a prisoner, a criminal, forced to give up its dreams. It is forced to give up its dreams. What does the line, until the whole man chooses to shop mean? It means until the person dies. Why does the child's foot feel defeated? It feels defeated because it cannot be butterfly or an apple. Where did the foot condemned to live? The foot condemned to live in a shoes. Who is the prisoner condemned to live in a shoe? That is the child's foot. Which form does the tiny petal toes of the child take? It is in the form of eyeless reptiles. How do the petal toes of the child look like? So the petal toes look like worms. What grows hard and change themselves in opaque substance? It is the soft nails or the foot. What is the child's foot not aware of? That it is a child. Mention one of the things that the child's feet walk through. So the child's feet walks through fields, mines, markets, ministers, backwards, inward and forward. Let's see the 4-mark question answers. Explain the various stages of hardship faced by the foot after being confined in a shoes. The child's foot is unaware of its limitation. It aspires to be a butterfly or an apple. As it grows, it starts facing hardships which are symbolized by stones, bits of glasses, streets, ladders and the paths in the rough earth. They go on teaching the foot that it cannot fly and cannot be a fruit bulging on a branch. So when they start walking barefoot, when the stones or the glass pieces pricks, when they walk, when they climb the ladders, all this teaches the child that it cannot be a butterfly nor an apple. Then the child's foot is defeated, it's imprisoned and condemned to live in a shoe. Gradually, the child's foot loses its innocence and faces the realities of the life. It feels out that life is like a blind man. It loses its shape to the form of eyeless reptiles and later covered with the faint volcanoes of death which the child's foot never imagined. It never knew it has ceased to be a foot. Next question. Bring out the contrast between illusion and reality in To the Foot from its Child. The foot is the symbol of journey of human life from childhood. The child's foot is unaware of it as a foot and it would be like a butterfly or an apple. The illusion is that it can fly, be a fruit, bulging on a branch, but stones, bits of glasses, streets, ladders, and the parts of rough surface teach the foot that it cannot be a fruit at all. The child's foot feels defeated, it falls in the battle of life, and it is imprisoned and condemned to live in the shoes. The child's foot grows to know that world in its own way, in the dark like a blind man. The soft nails of the child's foot grow hard and take on the form of eyeless reptiles and later thick and hardened part of the skin. The child's foot gradually loses its innocence and faces the realities of life when the child's foot becomes the man, the woman's foot, moving up, down through fields, mines, ministers, markets until he or she chooses to stop. Then it descends and everything is dark. It never knew it had ceased to be a child's foot so that it could fly or it could become an apple if they were burying it. So at last, after facing all these hardships, after facing the world's reality, after facing the challenges, the child comes to the conclusion that it cannot be a butterfly nor an apple. So it is very hard to live in this society, that the world is too very worse. So to cross all this, if we want to achieve something, we have to cross all these hurdles and then we can achieve something in our life. So, in my next session, I'll be revising the chapter 9. I believe that books will never disappear. Have a good day. Thank you.